follow up with data efficiency. As we said in the previous video, we don't want to input a huge amount of data to the backend, and we just want to have only the changes sent. So you can see here we have calendar actions. If we click on it, we will have event availability and delete events or delete availabilities. So we have very specific thing. For example, there are events that has been changed or added. We would just you can see it's just like this. So we don't send the entire calendar to the backend, we just send the actions that we have. So you can notice here in the events, for example, we don't have actions like create event and update event. We just have an event. We put it here, and the backend should infer whether it is an update or create, and we can notice this. If we go back to the update calendar and go back to update event, for example, and we can see check if some events already exist in the past, it will just update it, and else it will just create it. Of course, we can make it even more efficient by not sending the entire event, by sending only the field in the event that has been changed. For example, you can see here only the description or only the start date and end date. We can send only of that, but in this example, we don't need to do this because the event object is already very tiny, it's very small, it will not make a huge difference. But in other cases, we make it a bit more efficient. We can apply the same example on the content tree. Maybe we can keep it just like it is. We still send a list of content trees like this one, but this list is not to replace the old one, but is for the backend to infer by the ID. So for example, if the ID already exists, we replace the old one with the new one. If the ID does not exist, we import that in our list, just like this. So this can stay the same. We just change how the backend actually treat it. And from the front-end side, instead of storing the entire content tree, we store only the changes. We can find a way around this. But for the contracts, I don't think it's really good idea to send a contract. We can do it. We can send a full contract with a specific ID, and the backend could infer if the ID already exists, we will update the old contract. If the ID does not exist, we will keep and create just a new contract. But that's not a really good idea because it can be a bit confusing and a little bit hard to code. So it's better to have actions like payments actions, promises actions, maybe description or name actions, something like that. So we just have a list of actions, just like in the calendar example. So for updating the custom contracts, I can think of three different ways. The first way is just like the calendar example. We just send a custom contract field normally like this, and the backend should infer whether to make an update or create, or also we should have two more fields for deleting, just like this, where we just send the ID of what we want to delete. The other example is just like this, to be more specific, to have enum, and maybe this way we just send a list of CPayment and list of status of the CPayment. So in this case, if we want to change a lot in the CPayment, which is in the agreement actually, but I just called it this the CPayment is a bit confusing, sorry for that. So if we want to change a few fields in it, we send it like this. If we just want to change the status, we send it like this. Also like this one, and update the table, we can send it like this. Or if we want, we can just send list of columns that we want to update, or we send a list of rows that we want to update, or also we can do more, which is deletes. I can imagine how can we do it.